Welcome to Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, the creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. For the past 9 years, I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I started raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott. For the past 9 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself, and I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned on this journey. As the Alternative Dog Moms, we're bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and sharing the tips, tricks, and resources we learn along the way. Now, let's get started. Hello, Kimberly. Happy New Year.
New Year.
2024.
I know, I can't believe it. I made it. I survived another year.
I mean, 2023 was definitely a year that I'm just happy I survived, let me tell you.
Yeah, it was just not. The past few years have been, losing Sydney in 2020, losing Scout in 2022, Rodrigo in 2023. I'm done with losing dogs. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good.
No.
And I am so excited because usually around Christmas time is when I'm just so excited. Feel like I'm running to the new year, just slamming the door behind me because it's like, I'm ready for a new start. I have my new my planner and with all my stuff ready for 2024.
I still haven't done that yet.
I was up late last night watching something on television that was completely uninteresting, but putting stickers on things. And then eventually I turned it off. I was going to put it on in a different room and watch it. But once I turned it off, it went out of my mind until just right now. So that's how wonderful. I don't even know what the name of the show was. It was just, it was I love, the Bridgerton type of shows.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that, those era and stuff. There's one on HBO Max that I can't stand, but the other ones, I tend to like them. But this one was so boring. I mean, just so boring. It was just like, why are you guys bored? Because you guys look bored doing this show. It's so boring. So anyway.
Well, we've been watching a show on HBO Max called Bookie, which I highly recommend if you like, kind of inappropriate dark humor kind of stuff.
I have seen the previews for it.
So that's been our binge lately. I don't know. We've watched like 6 or 7 episodes so far.
So I finally logged into Apple TV. I did on Christmas Day. I have not started. What's the one that you always want me to watch now? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, there's a couple of them that I like. There's Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. I started Ted Lasso, but then when I started it, it was late. It got a couple chuckles out of me, but I just was too tired to really watch it, and I did not want to fall asleep. So I was like, I'll come back to it. And so I haven't gone back yet.
Yeah, there's Ted Lasso, Platonic, and Shrinking. Those are like my top 3. Okay.
Platonic is so good. So good. So good. It is the show that I did not know I needed. And I love Neighbors. I love Neighbors too. And the fact that they came back together and are doing Platonic. I just finished the episode where they gave her ketamine.
Yes, I was dying. I was absolutely dying, like falling off the sofa laughing at that.
It is so. I have never seen a comedy show where I'm like looking forward to just going back and starting it all over again. It's just that good. It's so much fun. I probably not since Schitt's Creek. Have I just, but this one, I am laughing. So they are so funny. It is absolutely the best. Shrinking is right after it. Yeah. I am watching Shrinking too. It's just the beauty of Shrinking is Han Solo. I just can't remember his name right now. Indiana Jones.
Harrison Ford.
Thank you, Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, I have never seen, he's been funny in his movies, but I've never seen him on like a funny show. And he is so perfect.
Yes.
And the three therapists together are just, their interactions with each other are so funny to me.
It's a great dynamic, in both those shows. It's such a great casting, great dynamic.
I mean, I'm loving that one. So
that's like, those all totally like my humor is like.
It's so. I mean, it's like so funny, and it's just so relaxing and easy and just funny. And I love. Is it Seth Rogen?
Yes.
This. There's too many Seths. But he's so funny to me.
Yes, I love that.
I have way too many. It's funny because I have way too many of his movies. I mean, literally way too many, because he just cracks me up in all of his movies. I was actually trying to get Johan to watch. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the political one with Charlize Theron. Yeah, is it like The Game Plan, or I can't remember what it's called, but and Johan was but then he got tired and wanted to go to bed. I don't understand these people who can't finish a movie, but he cannot finish a movie unless we're in a theater. The Long Shot is so good. And so when I was watching Platonic, I was like, I got to watch Long Shot. Let me just take a break and just get into some Long Shot. And now I'll probably just jump into I think I own Neighbors 1. I don't think I own the second Neighbors. I don't remember. But anyway, I love his humor. And so, oh my gosh, it's so funny. And then I watched the movie, The Family Plan, the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that.
And that's the reason why I finally logged into Apple TV, believe it or not, was a Mark Wahlberg movie. Not to throw shade. I actually enjoy Mark Wahlberg movies. I love
Does he have a shirt off?
No, he doesn't. Maybe he does. I honestly don't remember, which goes to show what a great movie it was for me, because I literally don't remember. I'm a sucker for Mark Wahlberg movies. And even The Happening, which was ridiculous. just the dumbest movie.
I don't even know that one.
Oh my gosh. I just want you to watch it just so I can watch your face where you're like, what is happening? It's just ridiculous. But I've watched it so many times. But anyway, it was one of those movies where I saw a trailer for it. And thankfully, all the funny parts were not in that trailer.
Oh.
There were parts of it where I'm watching it and it like snatched a laugh out of me. It was just like, I would laugh so hard at something. It was absolutely adorable and sweet, and I loved it. And I will be watching it again. And I watched the Monarch series. I think, I watched the Buccaneers, which actually annoyed me, but I watched it. And that's about it so far. But I am like, Apple TV is just like, hey, Hulu and Netflix and Disney Plus, maybe go and hang out with Apple TV for a little bit, because they got some good stuff happening. I mean, just like everything is so cool.
There's another one I love too called Truth Be Told. And it's about this woman who's making like a crime podcast, like a true crime podcast, but then it's like she's getting sucked into like the crime and the investigation, so it's all sort of like unfolding in real time, and you're like, she's like recording the podcast, and then you're seeing stuff happening, and like I like, as a podcaster, I like how much the podcast is a part of the show, and and it has Mekhi Phifer in it too, which
okay, cool. I haven't seen him in a while. That'll be cool. Okay. So yeah. So I'm like in love. I'm addicted to it. I love it. I'm happy. So thank you for the recommendation for the past year. I finally did it. So other than that, it was just a peaceful holiday season for us. For New Year's Eve, my friends and I got together the afternoon, and we went to one friend's house, and everyone brought their dogs, and I was a little nervous about how Bella would do, because she's kind of hit or miss with other dogs. Sometimes she sees other dogs. And what I've learned is that she just really isn't sure about dogs she doesn't know. If she doesn't know the dog and it's smaller than her, she loves them and she's really good. But if it's a bigger dog and stuff, she's just, especially if it's a very exuberant dog, she's just like, this is too much energy for me. So because of the illness thing, I stopped going to the dog park. Plus it's cold. And I was just like, should I go? What if this, but I was like, you know what? No one's dog is sick. There's no cases in our area. I'm just going to go. And I let Apollo out the car. He basically practically pushed me out of my seat to get out of the car to go say hello to everyone. I opened the door. Bella's just like, let me out, let me out, let me out. Got out of the car and just took off. And I barely saw her. Every now and then she'd come back and she'd check in with me, but mostly she was gone roaming this property with all of her dog friends. And she was having the time of her life. And it was so lovely to see. So yeah, she remembered. There was a couple dogs, several of the dogs that she remembered, because she lived with my friend who runs the rescue. She lived with her. So she remembers Jennifer, and she remembers Zobel, which is Jennifer's dog. And she met another puppy, even though this puppy was basically her size. This is going to be a big dog. But she met a puppy and was playing with the puppy a little bit, and mostly chasing Apollo around and following him everywhere. And it was so adorable. It was nice to see. So how's Nessie doing?
She's good. She's sprawled out next to me, frog dogging with a Kong. I was trying to distract her. So we have actually signed up for an online training class that I'm really excited about. It's actually someone who's local to me, who's certified through Suzanne Clothier's training courses. And so I'm doing the online version now, and then I'm going to do the in-person version when she starts up again in March. Okay. And so I'm really excited. I have never done a ton of training. I have never, ever been good at training my dogs to do the check-in with you when they're on the leash. So that's where we're starting and what we're working on right now. And I'm excited, but I feel very out of my comfort zone on this, but we're going to get there. But she's doing great. She's a lot of energy. We're getting into a good groove and a good routine. Her and aren't quite BFFs yet, but everybody's cool in the house. We're still kind of got our rotating thing going on, but she's settling in, and I at least feel like she knows the routine. She's knows what to expect at different times of the day, and she's been coming to work with me some more. So Tim and I both ended up getting sick over the holidays. Tim had it worse than I did, which, by the way, I credit to me taking my 5 Defenders. As soon as I had any kind of sore throat issue going on, I started with the 5 Defenders, and I just kind of had more fatigue and headachy kind of stuff, whereas he had full on cold, everything coming out of everywhere kind of situation.
Yep, I take it daily.
I'm like, I need to get back on it. I'll go through phases with it, but I was like, oh no, I need to stick on it now. So she's doing good. We're getting into a groove. We're having girl time. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah. I was on the phone with my dog trainer today, and we're friends. So we're just, shooting the breeze. And I was walking the dogs, and I come back, and the Amazon guy was driving onto the property. I noticed right after I let 2 of the dogs off leash. And so, but thankfully Apollo was still on leash. And so the guy's there, and I'm just like, they're going crazy. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, hey, no problem. And I'm just like, why do you guys have to do this when I'm on the phone with a trainer? Gosh, he's going to know. He's going to know I haven't been working with you guys for months. And it's like, way to go. It's like, so, adding to the New Year's resolutions, we need to get back into a routine.
So I will say, we didn't know how she would fare through the fireworks, because fireworks on New Year's are a big thing in our neighborhood. And she did not like them, but we were very readily and easily able to distract her with her rope tugging, as I'm sure everyone remembers from our most recent episode before this one. So she very much loves the rope. I got to tell you, my shoulder is all jacked up right now. I am counting the minutes down to my next chiropractor visit.
What have you been doing?
I know. She's like, I can tell you got to do dog, because every time I have come to her lately, she's like, what is wrong with your body right now? My hips are all out of whack, and my neck and my shoulders, I'm falling apart. But at any rate, at least she's good. At least she didn't have a meltdown, because Penny really had meltdowns during the fireworks, and we were very, at least glad that we were able to distract her. I was holding my mama mango in one hand and trying not to spill it while tugging rope on the other hand. Tim and I were like tag teaming in and out because he was getting rope burn on his hand. But we made it, and I'm glad we at least know how to keep her distracted.
Yeah, that's good.
She's a lot.
So 2023 recap.
Yes.
Let's go over one thing that I was quite excited about was Seattle is our most popular city. So
I was excited to see that too.
Shout out to Seattle. Hello,
Woohoo.
hello neighbors. And then this is followed by Massachusetts, South Carolina, California, and Texas. What's funny is San Francisco, California was also on, and I think it was Houston, Texas. They were both on my other podcast as well. So,
cool.
All you people, thanks for listening to us.
Yes, thank you so much. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of jealous because I don't do Believe in Dog. I don't do that through Buzzsprout, and I don't get all these cool statistics. And I'm like,
colorful.
I'm like, I want to switch now.
And then it's like we are in 47 countries. So our top 5 countries are United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, and Germany. So
Guten Tag. That's literally the only thing I know in German other than Messer is fork. Oh, and Gesundheit.
Gesundheit. Yeah. And then our top 5 episodes, which I actually wasn't surprised because these were really good episodes. Dr. Tom Lonsdale, Dr. Steve Marsden, Homeopathy with Andrea Ring, Dr. Ruth Roberts, and Dr. Emily Stein from Teeth.
My favorite thing, Teeth. I can already tell it working on Nessie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a very good year, I believe.
Absolutely. Did you have any favorite moments or any favorite episodes?
Oh, let me think. No, not that I can think of right now.
Well, the ones that came to my mind, other than the ones that have already been mentioned here, which, hold on. I was actually surprised that Dr. Royal wasn't on there because
that's right.
I was like, did not have that on my 2023 bingo card that I'd get to speak to Dr. Barbara Royal. I was very excited about that one.
Let me see what's in like the top 10.
I feel like she's got to be in the top 10.
She's got to be in the top 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No.
Oh, wow.
I know. I don't see how that could be. I'm gonna whip that one back out and reshare it because that is such an
so good
episode.
Yes. And one of my favorite moments was when we had Poppy Phillips on and she did the live iridology reading for Nino's eyes. And then like a month later, he started having problems that were reflected in her reading. And that blew my mind.
Oh yeah. That was like we were doing that. I was ordering books because I was so fascinated by everything that she did. It was so much fun.
Hey, quick question for you. Are you someone who wants to be fit, healthy, and happy? And what if I told you you could get your dream body by simply just listening to a podcast? I'm Josh.
And I'm KG, and we are the hosts of the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast.
Listen, we get it. Fitness isn't easy. Carbs, no carbs.
Just stop, okay? It doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's why we made this podcast. We get straight to the facts so you can become your best you.
So the way to check us out is click the link in the show notes or search Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast on any of the major podcast platforms. We'll see you soon.
And then one of my other ones was when we did the raw feeding roundtable and had brought Krista on and Jessica on. And I thought that was a fun thing to do. That was
a lot of fun. Was that this past year? I thought.
Yeah, it was April.
Oh, how funny. Golly. Okay, so I know that a few of my jealous episodes, and there was actually only one, was the BJ Ross open house. And I don't know when that was. That was
22.
No, that was 22. Yeah. I'm looking at the list and that was a year ago. But I still think about that one because it's just like, wow.
I was so bummed I had to miss it in 2023
There was
because
another one?
yeah, they do it every fall, and it was the same day that I had a volunteer event, and so I couldn't make it up there, and I was so bummed.
That was so cool because you got so much.
Yeah.
And there was just so much going on. It's like, this is the coolest thing ever. And so, yeah. So I just, it was a good year. A lot of just interesting stuff. Another one I really loved was Amy Renz from
Yes.
Goodness Gracious.
Yes. That was a great way. She was our last guest of the year. That was a great way to cap off the year. Yeah.
And I think I think that there are so many amazing people in this community, and just the amount of knowledge. And what I love is just how kind of casual everyone is. No one is, there aren't any, there are tons of intense people, but it's interesting because, gosh, sometimes people can be so intense with their philosophy on things. But then there are people who are maybe they're just as equally, they're obviously very passionate, but the way they deliver information is so easy.
Yes.
And so it just gets me so excited. I loved learning more about Goodness Gracious and, how she came to be, how, the company came to be.
The evolution, from treats into food and,
Yeah. And going back to Poppy Phillips, I loved just the whole idea. I can't even stop myself sometimes when I'm putting on makeup. If I, looking at my eyes and stuff, and I have a graph because I ordered one, and what I actually took pictures of. It's very, very hard to take pictures of a dog.
Yes. Yes. Very hard.
But I did get some pictures of everyone's eyes, and it was before I lost Rodrigo, where I was able to see like known conditions with him that I was able to map out on his eyes. So I thought that was really, it was just very fascinating. I think it's one of those where there are so many tools we have that are just natural that we as a species have forgotten how to use. But, when we talk about, well, what did people do 500 years ago? These are the things that people did 500 years ago, where people understood herbs and people could walk around and pick up the remedies that they needed just out in nature, where, not many people have that skill anymore. So speaking of which, one thing that I planned to do this holiday season was start and finish the Food Energetics course by Rita Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Did not.
Oh.
So I've set it up to get that done before the end of January. I have put this off for months now, but I need to get it done.
I want to do that one too, and I haven't yet. I also know, I actually just got an email today that she is offering a holistic canine herbalism class that's like 10 modules. And the first module launches on March 1st. And so I was looking at that too, because it's, I think, very affordably priced. And so I'm very excited to do that too. And like you said, I am not somebody who grew up gardening. Yeah. I don't plant anything. I always joke about having a black thumb. Like, I don't have any knowledge that's been passed down to me from anybody. My family has always been very, convenience oriented. And,
yes.
And so I'm so fascinated by this type of knowledge, and that it's something that it's important to me to feel connected to the world, the earth, in that way. And I'm just so fascinated. Like, I've always had this like ponderance in my mind of when I think of illnesses and things like that we've been put on this planet. And like, my guess is that there's something in nature that can cure any illness or ailment that we could have. Like, I feel like, and it was up to us to figure it out. And instead, we're paying pharmaceutical companies billions of dollars who are basically altering these substances and then making a bunch of money off of them.
Exactly. Well, and it's just like I often wonder how many times are the cures causing more problems?
Oh, yes.
More cures causing more problems.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And because even I have, today I rarely take, anything when something's wrong. If I'm not feeling well, I usually just, ride it out now. But I used to, if I get the touch of a headache, I'm popping, ibuprofen or whatever, any type of pain. And now it's like, because of the dogs, I reach for CBD oil or, and the only time I actually do go for like an Advil is if I am in so much pain and nothing else is working. And it's like, I need to get some sleep. And I think that's still so much better than basically taking it like, Tic Tacs.
Yeah. There was a period of time when I was taking Tums and Aleve, one or the other, like every other day, alternating each day, and having this journey with my health for the last 15 years. And, it's like, now I know, most of my headaches are because my neck is messed up and I can reach for my infrared pad to take the edge off of things. And, that's how I knew I was really under the weather over the holidays, because I was having to take a leave and it's like, I hate taking it, but nothing else was working.
Yeah. Yeah. So I created a page on my website. It's keepthetailwagging.com/courses, which has a lot of really cool courses that people can check out. I've also created a page that has 2024 events all around the country, actually around the world, but primarily in the US, because not everyone on the East Coast can come to the West Coast and vice versa. And it sometimes feels like most of the events are on the East Coast. We are starting to get more on the West Coast. But, when I was creating the list, I was like, there's a lot of events on the West Coast too. There's
so many events this year in 2024. I'm shocked. Like, I don't know how anybody could afford all of these events.
Right. And it's like on my list, I included like expos because I found that even though they may not be, like fresh food focused, you can still connect with a lot of cool people, because I know, for instance, Vibrant Canine in Southern California, they would be at the Orange County Pet Expo up here. And when we used to have Seattle Pet Expo, Darwin's Pet, Vital Essentials Raw, sometimes Seattle Natural Pet Pantry, but we would have local people that would come to those expos. So it's a really cool way to just talk to people face to face.
Well, I'll send you the one for Maryland, because we have a big pet expo here in January.
Please do. I can add it. So yeah, but it's like a really cool thing. And a lot of times the pet expos are free. And so you can just go in there and walk around. I mean, I find that a lot of it can be a bit tedious, because I'm not a fan of places where I love the idea of us bringing our dogs to us.
That's the worst part of those things. Yeah.
It's just, I like the idea behind it. The reality is something different, because I feel like more than 50% of the people who are bringing their dogs to these events
shouldn't.
Yeah, they should not be bringing their dogs. And it's just not a good, I've seen people like dragging their dog, is telling them, I do not want to be here. And they are forcing their dog into a very uncomfortable situation.
Yes.
I've seen people who are, oh my gosh, my rant of the day. I went to Home Depot because I'm looking for shades for our bathroom, and I nearly stepped into a dog's poo.
Oh my God. I
was furious, and there is no one for me to be furious at. I also wouldn't do that. I was inside seething, thinking of, when I do the podcast, I'm going to get it out then. But it's just sort of like, I get the desire to want to take our dogs everywhere, but it drives me crazy, because there is this population of dog lovers who do not pay attention to their dogs.
Yeah.
Yet they bring their dogs everywhere. And so if their dog poops in an aisle at a store, they either ignore it or they just don't notice it, and it just sits there. And it's like, the fact that you're leaving strangers to have to pick up after your dog.
It's bad enough outside. Bad enough. I hate when people do it in my neighborhood, which it's like a complete pandemic in my neighborhood of it. Oh my God, in a store, I'm horrified.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem picking up after my dogs. It doesn't faze me one bit. it would drive me crazy if I had to pick up after other people.
Somebody else's dog, yes.
I'm not mad at the dog. I'm just mad at the person who made this. And the fact that, someone goes to work, in my opinion, they do not get paid for that.
Yeah, it's not PetSmart. Like, it's bad enough if you work at PetSmart and got to do it. You don't go to Home Depot thinking you're going to be picking up people's dog poop every day.
And the person who, thankfully, I just happened to look down and was able to adjust. If I would have stepped into that and not noticed and then tracked it around the store and then into my car, people, please pick up after or just leave your dog at home. And if you can't leave your dog at home,
or leave them.
You can order stuff online today. Today, everything can be delivered to you.
Curbside pickup. Bring your dog in the car and keep him in the car and just throw it in the trunk and leave. I've done that.
There's just no excuse for it. So, yeah, that's my aggravation. So I don't like going. That's the one thing when I go to an expo that I do not like to see. Same thing with conferences and stuff. I actually, there was a blogging community that we would have annual conferences. And I remember one year someone's dog in an elevator pooped all through an elevator and they just left it there. And it's just sort of like, it's not like we took over the hotel. There are other guests in the hotel. And I walked by and there was someone at the front desk complaining about the fact that there's dog poop in the elevator and I should be able to walk around this hotel.
Way to, it's like some places won't even let you bring dogs and this is why. And it's usually not because of the dog, but because of the people.
Yeah.
It's like you're ruining it for everybody else. You're making everybody else look bad.
Yeah, it's just like, please, the
dog poop thing really fires me up.
Yes, it's just like, it just drives me absolutely bonkers. It's like, come on. And it's one of those, and if you weren't prepared, there have been moments where, I think there was one of those, I'm a dog. So of course I pooped 3 times when you only had 2 poop bags.
Right.
That would be Rodrigo. I mean,
that would be Nino.
If I did not, because I would be like, well, I have 3. If I have 3 poo bags, then I should be okay. Rodrigo was going to squeeze out an extra one. And he was going to do it when someone was staring me down going, are you going to It's like, I'm out of poo bags. And I'm like looking for something to fashion into a poo bag. So now I have them in my car. I have them in my purse. I have them hanging from my purse. And I have them in a coat pocket. So I always have a poo bag.
Same.
So you can turn around and look and ask. I mean, even an employee can go and get you a bag and you can use that bag. But don't leave it by. Okay, I'm done talking about poop and Home Depot. But it's really just need to get that off my chest.
So which of these events are you looking at trying to go to? Do you have any that you're really looking forward to?
The Feed Real Summit. I am looking because that was such a great event and it's right down the coast for me. And so I am looking forward to that one. So far this year, I did price out. I thought about going to the Healthy Dog workshop or Healthy Dog Expo. These airlines.
I know.
It is literally twice as much as it was. I mean, granted, I know it's been about 5 years or so, but good gravy. It is so expensive for me to fly across country to go to that event. And so I will not be making a visit unless the airlines slash prices. I will not be making a visit to the East Coast this year.
So there's 3 of them that I can drive to.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Feed Real and Dr. Judy are like back to back. And it's like, I can really only do one or the other.
Yeah.
So, East Coast is much easier travel for me.
Well, that's just it. It's like we represent. You represent the East Coast. I represent the West Coast.
I really want to make it out to the West Coast one day, though. I've never been further west than Las Vegas.
I actually want to go to Florida because I have a friend in Florida and I've always wanted to go and visit her. Or even Nashville. I would love my very, very, very best friend, Sarah, moved to Nashville in 2020. And this is a person who I went to lunch with. We had a standing lunch appointment for decades. I mean, we went to lunch every month. We went to the same place, Cheesecake Factory. We practically had the same orders. We had we were very good about our system and she is me she's just my touchstone. And so I miss her. And so I would love to go to an event in Nashville, Tennessee. But
I've never been to Nashville.
I have been once.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't properly been to Nashville though, but I was in Nashville. There was a conference there. I had Nashville barbecue. It was delicious. And I had lunch with Dr. Kathy Alanovi.
Oh,
yes. She was she and Dr. Judy Morgan were the two vets that I connected with when I was very early on. And
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. Raw feeding. So it was amazing to hang out with. I was at the conference and Dr. Alanovi showed up to surprise me. She and her daughter, she has a gorgeous daughter. And it was just so amazing to see her. It was like I was speaking at the conference and I looked in the audience and was just like, I know her.
Oh, wow.
It was the best surprise. And then we went to dinner and it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But yeah, so far it's just, I don't know if there's I'm guessing that there's going to be an event in, was it Newport Beach? The spa event, but I haven't seen mention of it.
Yeah, I feel like their scheduling might get backed up some because of all these other events.
Yeah. So we'll see. So, did you see the post about Solutions Pet Food?
I did. And I had heard a rumor about this like a week or so ago, I think from the Raw Pet Medics guys. Mm-hmm. And then when you posted it today, I was like, oh, they were right. And honestly, like I was too under the weather to follow up on what was going on when I initially saw it. And so I've been trying to deep dive and figure out what's been going on.
I did. I reached out to Chelsea Kent and she texted me back and I haven't read her text. Chelsea is one of these people where she is going to educate you. So this is my, I won't show you but anyway, just to get an idea, this is my text. Oh, here, so you can see it. My text. This is my text to Chelsea. This is Chelsea's response.
Oh my God, she's scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling.
Going to educate you.
Scrolling. Oh my God. I'm guessing she did text, speech to text. I couldn't imagine anyone would text that much.
I love knowing Chelsea. It is the coolest thing in the world that this person has my phone number and I have hers, because I will have a question and she will educate you so beautifully and so clearly. And what cracks me up about Chelsea is she knows things. I don't know. It's like she just intuitively knows things. It's so
she's brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like asking someone about, why is the sky blue? And then they just plainly explain to you, they just explain it to you. And you're just like, I understand that. That's how Chelsea is in the pet space, in the nutrition space. She can just explain it to you and give you resources and stuff. So I reached out to her because I thought that if you guys have to take stuff off of your site, I can put it on my site, and other people like me, we can put it on our sites, because I am not beholden to AFCO. I can say whatever I want to say. Granted, I can't lie. I can't spread misinformation, but I feed solutions and I can share from my perspective, as well as adding, resources to support what I'm saying. And so so we're working on that too. Dr. Josie Bug said that she has some information too. So I'm going to be working with her as well. And it would be really great to see other people do the same, because I feel like, you guys aren't going to get us down. The information is out here. This is such a silly thing. I was texting with Billy Hookman earlier where I was just like, is this even their lane? This is not their job. And I just get a text back, the shrug the shoulders emoji. And he's like, no, it's not their lane, but they're going to try and do it anyway. And it's sad because, it's not, I think in some cases, is it really worth the fight when we have a solution that'll work even better? Maybe. I don't think it'll slow them down. I'm also curious about, have you heard the stories about what's going on with Purina?
A little bit. I've kind of
getting sick.
Yes, I have heard that. Yes, I've heard that dogs are getting sick. Pretty much assume that I don't know anything that's gone on in 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm horrible because I've been in Apple. How did you guys get in here? They totally opened the door. This is creepy. No.
So for anybody who isn't sure what we were talking about regarding Solutions, I just wanted to say that there is an announcement on Solutions website that says, due to new state regulations regarding labeling, which now extends to websites and social media, pet food manufacturers have been forced to remove extensive relevant health information, including links to scientific validation references from media platforms. So if you're looking for specific information regarding health and wellness, you should please email nurture@solutionspetproducts.com.
And there is a little misinformation because people are they're applying this to Colorado. So I don't know what's happening in Colorado, but Solutions is actually aren't they like in Indiana?
I don't know where they're incorporated.
So she says it's not Colorado, it's AFCO in any states that follow their suggestions. So that's what Chelsea says. And Billy said, it's not Colorado doing the information thing specifically, it's any AFCO state. AFCO has written this into their guidelines. You know, it's a little wonky, but basically if, you know, any brands that are like trying to stay good with AFCO, maybe they're going to comply. And I'm gathering that the attempt is going to be able to force these companies to take information down so that, you know, at a risk of, you know, oh, you're possibly sharing misinformation and we don't want to do this, and, you know, trying to penalize them that way. So, and the reason why I brought up Purina is because, you know, in my silver conspiracy hat, tin foil hat, mine, I'm like, it's interesting that Purina is going through these silent recalls, or I don't know if that's what they're doing, but Purina is doing something. Something's happening with Purina. But then this comes up and it's like, what are you guys doing? Why is it, you know, it's sort of like one of those, hey guys, look at here while we get away with doing
right.
Aren't looking. So I don't know what's happening, but we will definitely keep an eye on it. Oh, so.
Well, for anybody else who is conspiracy minded, I have to tell you, I have been binge listening to a podcast called Who Killed JFK? Ever since I was a kid, my dad and I watched that JFK movie that Oliver Stone put out in the 90s. I was a teenager, and I somehow got sucked into watching this whole movie, and I have been obsessed with the whole JFK assassination. And if Tim's walking by and listening to me, he's probably rolling his eyes, because there was literally a day when I called him at work and was like, oh my God, you're not going to believe what the CIA did in 1962. But, you know, just listening to how all of these different pieces have been uncovered over the years, and then seeing how other things play out in the world, in the media, in corporations, it's just been really fascinating. So
I'm adding that to my list.
Yeah, it's really well done. It has Soledad O'Brien.
Yep. So I will add this to my thing. So thank you. Well, Erin, it's been a wonderful year with you. I look forward to a wonderful 2024.
Yes, me too. I'm getting my arm ripped off again.
Nessie for me. Use your good arm to wave.
Lots of Nessie updates in 2024. Happy New Year, everybody.
Bye, guys.